So we are back, and now we have a guest, Tiffany Williams, my homegirl. You guys, we have such a history, me and Tiffany. I'm really, really excited to have her on the podcast. We actually went to uni or college together. Yeah, shout out to fashion designers out there, future fashion designers out there. Yeah. But yeah, Tiffany is right here. Introduce yourself, Tiffany.
Hi, guys. So, my name's Tiffany. I'm a functional nutritional therapy practitioner, and I specialize in women's hormones and menstrual cycles and all of that goodness.
Oh, you guys heard it here. Okay. This is going to be a good one. So this episode, guys, is going to be about women's, oh my God, I can't even speak English. Women's bodies. So
Mhm.
for my men listeners or my, people that, they say that they're, male or whatever have you, this is going to be predominantly about the menstrual cycle for women, but I do encourage you guys to listen, like
Yes.
even if you're a man or you claim, you know what I'm saying, if you have male parts, whatever have you, I think this is important for everyone to hear. So, and it's also something new to me. So I'm actually really excited to have Tiffany on because we recently actually, we actually recently just kind of like got back into each other's
Reconnected.
lives. Yeah, reconnected. It was actually quite beautiful. Me and Tiffany like haven't spoke for like, I don't know, 5 years or so.
Mhm.
And then we just kind of like, saw each other on the social medias and just kind of reached out and then caught up for like 3 hours on Zoom the other day. And then she told me that what she does and what her business does. And I thought that was perfect because I think it's super important for women to hear. So yeah, Tiffany, wait, oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, Tiffany, I mean, I'm really excited to have you back, but I mean, how does it feel like it was kind of like, wow, we had like a total moment where we were like catching up and we're like, girl, but I was actually genuinely happy and like it made me really happy to kind of like have that like reconnection again because it was just something that
Yeah.
was just nostalgic because we know each other we were like 20, bitch, like
Yeah.
19, 20 years old. We're smooth in our 30s now,
Yeah.
women of just we've just gone through life, we've had different jobs, different partners, and it felt really good.
Yeah,
It felt
it
really
was
good.
really good. My boyfriend was like, "Oh my God, you were on the phone for 3 hours? Who does that?" And I'm like, "I know. The last time I've done that, I was like, I don't know. I was in like high school. This is gonna really
Right.
age me. High school before, like when you had those, what were they like? T9 texting. Like I had a cell phone
Oh
from
my
like
God,
7-Eleven
girl.
with
You are telling
minutes.
everybody our age? Woo, girl. I know. It was a lot. It was a while ago. I mean, but it wasn't anything of like honestly, like I don't know, like if you are people, I mean, the people that are listening here, like if you've ever had connections just kind of like as you just get older and you move away. Like Tiffany now lives in New York City, so we actually went to school together here in Chicago and she moved away. And so yeah, our lives just took us different places. I actually though did go visit you when I was backpacking. I actually
Yeah,
did I stay with you or did I visit you in New York?
you stayed with me
I
for
did
like a
stay
night.
for like
Yeah.
a quick night. Yeah, I reached out to Tiffany and like I stayed with her. I was backpacking and she was so sweet. She was like, yeah, girl, you can sleep on my floor or couch or whatever the fuck I slept on. But that
Yeah,
was ages ago. I don't even
it
remember
was.
shit, girl. It was so long ago.
You're
But
like, did I see you? Did I come to
bitch, I'm telling,
you?
and I smoke too much weed now, so I don't remember shit. So I'm just like, oh, what was that? What did I do? But honestly, so okay, so let's get into it, you guys. So this is going to be really informational. We're going to learn a lot about women's bodies, and we're going to learn about menstrual cycles and kind of like I don't know, like just like the just basically like the I mean, like we were taught growing up as women, just like how our bodies like function and like how we need to be, on birth control, things like that. Like
Yeah.
and there's so much to like, there's things that we haven't learned as women. And it's like, this is our own body. Like, and like, I feel like there's so many things about my own body when it comes to my menstrual cycle that I'm still very just like ignorant to. So that's where Tiffany comes in. So she's the expert on that. So again, can you remind me again, what exactly that is your title and what do you do once again, please?
Yeah, so my title is a functional nutritional therapy practitioner. And I'm a fertility awareness educator to be. So I'm still in training for fertility awareness. However, I've been practicing it for around 3 years now.
Okay.
Um, And so, yeah, I do encourage male identifying people to
Thank you, girl. I
stay
don't know
and
why I couldn't
listen.
say that earlier. I was like, male, I just don't want to be offending people. So I'm just like, how do I say it right? So yeah, thank you for that, Tiffany. Thank God for you.
You're totally fine. But yeah, I encourage us all to stay because, even as um, menstruators or people who have periods, a lot of us don't know this stuff. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone through the process of explaining the hormones of the menstrual cycle, explaining when you can get pregnant and when you can't get pregnant, explaining cervical mucus. And so many of my clients are like, oh my God, I didn't know, and I didn't know, prior to learning this. And it's a shame. It's sad,
Mhm.
But if your partner also knows this stuff, you both can work together to avoid pregnancy naturally, and avoid having hormonal contraception, which can cause a multitude of side effects. And I don't like say that to scare anyone, but I think even you, like, you've been on birth control, like, whatever side effects you've
Yeah.
experienced. Name
Mhm.
name a woman, honestly, name a woman on birth control and she's experienced some sort of negative side effect.
I mean, every woman out there will raise their hand. I mean, dead ass. Yeah,
Yeah.
like every woman. Yeah, I was really excited. It just sucks because I was like literally we were talking for like 3 hours catching up, and this bitch comes out and says, "Oh yeah, I teach fertility. I'm a nutritionist." And so I was like, "Bitch, I just got the implant re-put in my arm." So it was literally like a week before too. So she was like, "Damn, I wish you fucking, I wish we spoke a week ago." I was like, "Me too," So like, I mean, not that I can't do it, but
Mhm.
that's why I want you on the shows so you can teach us and like kind of like school us, girl, school us. Like, cause that's something that I feel like I'm still super ignorant to. I mean, I've been on birth control since I was like, I don't know, 19, 20 years old. I'm
Yeah.
31 years old, guys. Like, I don't even know how my body feels without hormones in it. And that kind of, it actually kind of feels really uncomfortable and scares me a bit. But at the same time, a baby scares me more. So I just don't even know what to do. I'm like, like your girl can't have no kid right now. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I never, I think most women didn't know there was another option other than birth control or condoms, correct? I mean, or
Mhm.
the pull out and pray method, which you know how that works. I mean, how many of us have done that and how many of us are sitting with some babies, So I just wanted to make sure I just wanted my listeners to be cognizant of this too, because sometimes this information is not it's just not given to us as women, which is really sad,
Yeah.
so Tiffany, how and why is it like how did you get into this practice? How did you get into this in this industry in that sense?
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like you probably, I mean, you know me from like college, always into like some sort of like nutrition thing. And I should have just like followed that, but I never did because, we're doing the fashion design thing.
Right.
Um, but it was, so I've always been interested in nutrition and health and just trying to like optimize how I feel because I've had this like underlying fatigue thing for years. And I feel like I have it better managed now because of what I do. But as far as the fertility stuff, it was around like 3 years ago that I started dating my current boyfriend, and we decided that we needed like something, I was like, I need to go on birth
No
control.
pull out and pray.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, yeah. So I decided to go ahead and get an IUD. I got a Skyla IUD, and I have to tell you, like, the insertion itself was painful. Like,
Oh, girl.
I look back and like, why do we allow ourselves to go through such pain? It's
Yeah.
unnecessary. It's
Yeah.
unnecessary. And then on top of that, there is my doctor was very he lacked bedside manner. And I think as Black women, we don't get bedside manner
What did he
from our
do, if
doctors.
you don't mind me asking? If you would like to
Yeah,
share.
sure. No, I'm an open book.
Yeah, girl. What did
so
he do? What the fuck did
so
he do?
when you have your legs up in the stirrups, and
Yeah.
when they do the insertion, they put the speculum in, and then you have to go when like you're on your period. And so
For the IUD?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
because your cervix is softer. And so it's supposed to be easier to get it
Oh.
in. And so I guess like he took a swab or something and put it up there and it hurt. And so I wiggled and he was like, you can't move. He's like, oh my God, all I did was put a swab up there. He straight yelled at me.
Wow.
He straight yelled at me. And I was like, okay, I understand. Like he's putting something in my cervix. It's like he could be liable if something were to happen
Yeah,
to
but
me.
that's
So
a natural reaction, I think, though, right? I would
yeah.
squirm and things like you don't gotta school me like I'm a fucking kid. Like
Yeah.
wow.
No,
Okay.
I agree. So then like I got it inserted. It was very painful for me.
Mhm.
And then it was over, so then fine. I went along with my life, having sex, good to go. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I can feel like the knot on the string because you're supposed to
Ooh.
like check it to make sure everything's okay. And I was like, I
Yeah.
wonder if that's okay. And then I asked my partner, I'm like, are you able to feel this? And he was like, yeah, but like, I don't know. And I was like, let me go just get it looked at. And the doctor
Oh
was like,
Lord.
oh my God, it's dislodged. We have to take it out. We have to replace it. You need to get the morning after pill because you might be pregnant. Da, 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 da. Granted, if you have a hormonal thing inside of you,
Yeah.
regardless of if it's coming out or not, you are still getting the dose of those hormones.
Okay.
And on top of that, when he took it out, he did an ultrasound and he was like, oh, you already ovulated.
Okay.
If I already ovulated, I couldn't get pregnant. So
Okay.
these
Okay.
are just things that I know like now in retrospect that I just like roll my eyes and I'm like, wow, like why does a
Tiffany,
gynecologist not even know
right?
this?
But you know what? A lot of women don't. So like, I feel like
Mhm.
everything you were feeling was super valid because it's like a lot of women aren't taught this about our bodies, And so, like, when you just said like, okay, well, you had your IUD got dislodged. I had a friend. I'm not going to tell her name because I don't know if she wants to put her tea out there, but she actually got pregnant with the IUD inside her. And it
Oh,
got it
wow.
got wedged in, it got dislodged and it got pressed into her, I think into her cervical wall. And she got pregnant or something. Yeah, she still got pregnant. So she had to go through that process. It was painful. She had to get like a surgery to get that removed. Plus, she had a miscarriage because of the fact that there was an IUD in there.
Yeah.
But it was super painful and super traumatic for her, And so it's just so maybe for her in her case she was ovulating when she had sex, is that why, and she had the IUD in with her?
But
Okay.
then, and I 100% like that did happen, and
Mm.
they say that the likelihood of that happening is very low. It's something like 1 or 2%. Um,
Wow.
but like hearing about people getting them embedded into their uteruses and people having them dislodged. Okay, so you just told me that's like the fourth person that I've heard that's had issues with an IUD, and it's pushed like it's something that's so safe. Around the time that my IUD dislodged, 3 of other girlfriends had their IUDs dislodged within a couple of weeks of me having mine
Wow.
dislodged. And so I just, when we look back on the history of an IUD, they had something called I forget what the name is. It's something like Daikon Shield. I'm pretty sure
Mm.
I'm saying that wrong, but there were all sorts of lawsuits because it fucked up
Wow.
so many uteruses.
So
And
many
there's so
uteruses.
many uteruses.
There's just so many uteruses.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking crazy. Well, it just seems
Yeah.
like if this is a pattern, then I mean,
Yeah.
come
And
on,
I
is it?
don't want to like turn anyone off because there have been people that are like comfortable and they've had like success
Right.
with it. It's
Right.
your body. Do what you want. I'm all
Mhm.
for, bodily autonomy, but I just think that me personally, having known so many people that have dealt with that with the IUD, it's
Yeah.
just it blew my mind. It
Mhm.
blows my mind.
I've always been scared of the IUD. Like I've had friends that had it and had it successfully as well, but I've always been like, I never felt comfortable with this device just sitting in my body, in my uterus, just like chilling. Like I just never really that was never really something I wanted to do. Mind you, my form of birth control I have now is for my ladies or for my people that don't know what it's called, the Implanon, which is a small plastic like tube that's like a hormonal tube that is inserted into your arm. Mine's like right here on my arm. If you're watching the visuals on YouTube, I'm pointing at my arm, underneath my armpit, like a little bit past my armpit, into my my
Inner
forearm,
arm.
inner forearm, yeah, bicep.
Upper,
It's like underneath my girl, and
Takes
anatomy,
two
right?
people to figure
I know. I'm like my arm, this part of my arm, underneath my bicep, right?
Yeah.
So it's like right there, and it's underneath the skin, but I can actually feel it. And it's not as scary as the IUD, because obviously, like the IUD, you're like spread your legs and like they're inserting something into your cervix. It does suck because it's going under my skin, so they do have to like cut my skin and put this tube in my arm. And I just recently got it. So the IUD I have, I forgot the exact name, because there's like a 5 years, like a 3 year or something like that, or 2 year. I have the 5 year one.
Mirena.
So probably, yeah, you would know more than this, know more than me. So I had it for 5 years, and then I just got it put back in. I've had many women hate this form of birth control. I've heard so many people that had the implant and in their arm, and they had it taken out because they were getting very irregular periods, like enormously, just like all the time too. When I first got it put in, I remember I had my period like so much, and I was just kind of like, is this fucking normal? Like, I was just like, what is happening right now, And so it's like, as a woman, you don't want to bleed all day every day for the whole month, it's just sucks.
Yeah.
So
and it's not healthy. Like, we shouldn't have cycles that are on for that long. A normal cycle, your period should be 3 to 7 days. You should have like 2 heavy days, and everything else should be like medium or light. Okay. But if you're bleeding for more than 7 days, that's a sign that there's something going on. There's something hormonally off. And I think, and I feel like this ruffles a lot of feathers, because doctors will tell women who have irregular periods to go on the pill to regulate their periods. But yes, the pill, no more, like, hormonal contraception does not regulate your period. What you're getting is something called a withdrawal bleed. And that happens because birth control disrupts the hormonal feedback loop between your ovaries and your brain. And so it flatlines the hormones that your body makes, and it is replaced with artificial hormones, those being the chemical version of estrogen and progesterone, but it's called progestin. And those hormones are not the same as what our bodies make. If we just talk about progestin for a second, so it's the man-made version of progesterone. It does not act like progesterone in the body. Progesterone is like the relaxation hormone. It can calm your anxiety. You should feel chill in the second half of your cycle. You shouldn't feel like anxious or depressed or have sore breasts or have like cramping. Like, those are all PMS symptoms. If you're experiencing that while you're on the pill, like, definitely, if you really want to stay on the pill, get on a different pill or come off of it and learn fertility awareness, or do a non-hormonal version, because I tell you, progestins are bad.
Yeah.
They're not good. They're not where it's at.
Is that what I have, Tiff, in my arm?
Every hormonal contraceptive has progestin.
Okay.
If it's a combination pill. So even if you're just progesterone only, that's a progestin. They do not put bioidentical progesterone in hormonal contraceptives.
Okay.
And okay, I say this stuff and I'm always like, okay, I'm not trying to like scare people. I just want to.
No, but I mean, at the same time, this is just information that we don't know, though. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, like, that's what, I mean, I'm just trying to give it I'm trying to, inform my listeners, but maybe give some comic relief with it too. Cause you know what? We're all there. I mean, you guys, I'm fully sitting here with a motherfucking progesterone or whatever the fuck Tiffany come out in my arm right now. Okay. I'm I mean, like, what she's saying is real, but it's like, I mean, I'm also 31 years old. I've lived and I had it for 5 years already. So it's possible to live on, but it's just like, I just don't feel comfortable. I'm very curious. I just would like to know, because, you know, like, I'm sure a lot of women out there too can agree, like, when you got first put on birth control pill, mostly the pill, I think a lot of women probably started with that as their first form of birth control. You gained weight, right? A lot of women say they gained weight or lost weight. They got hairy. Like, a lot of women said, like, oh yeah, I started growing hair on my like lip. Like, I got really, you know, like, just because all the different hormones that your body's going through. What's another one that Tiffany, like,
I mean, for me,
yeah,
the first time I was in Chicago when the first time I was on the pill, and I became like a different person, and I was
wait a minute,
severely
Tiffany,
depressed.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember that, because you were in college.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
you told me, you were like, I was like a raging bitch. You were on Yaz?
I was on Yes. I can't believe you remember that. It was
I
so
remember that.
bad. I'll never
Yeah.
forget like the like low point. I was in a cab and this guy like took me to like, I lived on like Kimbo, but he took me to Campbell and he was like, you said Kimbo. He like yelled at me. And then I was like, but you didn't take me where I wanted to go. And he was like, well, I'm going to call the cops on you if you don't pay this fare. It was so bad. It was
Girl.
so bad. And then my boyfriend was mad at me at the time. It was bad. And I was just like, I think I'm going crazy. And then it was just like a snowball of like, I can't believe this is happening to me. And I went to the doctor and they were like, so what are you here for? And I was like, oh my God, I just want to change my pill. I was like crying in the doctor's office and the woman is like, oh, okay.
Like, this bitch is crazy. Like, no, yeah, Yaz made you crazy. But you know what though? You weren't the only one. I believe, like, I want to say my friend Sen also was like crazy boots on Yaz. Like, there were a lot of women that were like losing their fucking mind because they were on Yaz. Like, whatever that hormone that they were using really set something off, right? And people in a woman's brain. I don't fucking know. I mean,
I don't think they recommend that to people anymore. Yeah.
It's been taken off?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
good.
it's been taken off the market, but I do think that it's not one of the first things that they would recommend.
Well, that's good.
Right.
Well, that's good. I remember the pill that I was on, and I think we talked about it because I was
you're on like
Loestrin.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because me and you weren't we both on it? And then you take the brown pills.
Wait, no, I don't think I was ever on it, but I think I asked you about it because I was like, maybe I could be on the same one as you because you seem normal.
Yeah. Then you didn't lose your mind and yell at a cab driver for no fucking reason. No, I remember the pill. I would take the pills and they have a little thing, you know, like, and they had all the days. And then like, I remember the brown, they had like 4 or 5 brown pills. And the brown pills were supposed to be like the ones that they gave you your period also. And they were supposed to give you like iron or some other shit that like, it was supposed to be like a better form of birth control, not like super, like not like Yaz. Cause I was like very like, I went to my doctor, was like, I don't want Yaz. My friends go crazy on Yaz. Don't give me that shit. So I remember that. Yeah. And I was on that one for quite some time. I think for years. The reason why I got off that, Tiffany, was that I started traveling. And when I backpacked and I was back and with traveling, like the different times. So with the birth control pill, guys, if you guys don't know, the birth control pill is supposed to be taken the same time every day. Correct? Is that correct, Tiffany?
Yeah.
Right. So you're supposed to take this pill every day at the same time. So for me, when I was traveling and backpacking, my time zones would change. I'd be on a plane. I would wake up and, you know, I would be all fucked up because I never knew so it was, I would always fuck up my cycle. And so I always would have my period. So then that's when I actually got on the implant, was because of that. Because I knew that, you know, being a huge traveler like myself, I wasn't going to be able to I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm always going to have my period. So that's crazy though. I mean, like, I remember that now, Tiffany, because we were both like young and like experiencing birth controls for the first time, right? Like in college, you know, and fashion designers, aspiring fashion designers.
Aspiring.
Oh, girl. The ghetto. But okay, so you basically, So the reason you got into this industry, got into this practice, is because of the experience you had firsthand with birth control yourself. And then
Yeah.
you said, like, did you ever have like menstruating problems? Like, there's some women out there that haven't, like, they don't have a regular period. Like, they don't get their period for like months, or they get it once a year or something like that. So did you have those issues too, or it was just...
Yeah, so my issue, I found out after I got my IUD removed that I had fibroids. And
What's that?
so fibroids are a benign like tumor growth. It can
Oh,
happen on or inside your uterus.
okay.
And they can be really small, or they can be, humongous and cause a lot of issues. And um, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a very high percentage of women that get these. And of course, it disproportionately affects the Black community.
Hmm.
So I haven't asked my sisters. My mother doesn't have them, so I really think it was a hormonal issue, possibly triggered by my hormonal contraceptives that I've taken,
Hmm.
or just maybe from things that I've eaten in the past that haven't been, optimal for my physiology.
Hmm.
Um,
Do you eat meat now, Tiffany? I can't remember. I think...
yes.
okay. I remember you also had this time of your life where you're like, I'm vegetarian or I'm vegan, and then you
Yeah.
were like, wait a minute, but then you went back and you were like, okay, but I'll eat meat, but it has to be like grass fed, and then like, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do
Yeah.
now?
Oh, I'm okay. So I do eat meat now.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a big proponent of eating animal products because they are full of bioavailable nutrients. So I used to be vegan way back in the day, but I don't, and I feel like a lot of people will be hurt by this because I feel like the Black community is so big on veganism right now.
Really?
I do not believe that it's
Well,
healthy.
you be living in like like Williamsburg, fucking New York
I
City or some
don't live in
shit.
Williams. I don't
Really?
live in
Okay. Because I'm like,
Williamsburg.
where all the blacks think they, oh, yoga, veganism. I'm like, y'all don't want some chicken? Come on.
No, there is like a huge movement within the Black community for veganism. But if we really talk about like Africa and like
Let's talk
tribalism,
about
like
it.
what they were
Right.
having, they were eating meats. I mean, they were definitely having vegetables, but like they had their animals, they would drink their milk, they would drink their blood. There is even like there's a tribe that people talk about that reference all the time called the Maasai, where
Oh, yeah.
all they had were meat, blood, and milk. That was like all they ate, and they were one of the strongest tribes.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's like
I
with
bet
this
they'll win
whole
every race.
hell yeah.
Every foot race, bitch.
But
Okay,
every time,
tell me
yeah.
the fastest runners in the world aren't from fucking Africa and shit, right? Come on now. Come
Yeah,
on.
true.
Right. They be fast as fuck. Okay. I did see you post something on your Instagram recently, and it was like about beef liver. I was like, what the fuck is that
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
There
Beef
were
liver.
tablets that you take?
Yeah, they're just like capsules, desiccated. Because
Interesting.
it's like, okay, I don't know about you, but like my mom used to make liver. She would make it like after her period, and she would be like, "We need it for like iron and nutrients after our periods because we're bleeding so much." And we're like,
Uh-huh.
and so she would make me have some, and I don't know. I feel like the way she cooked, I was just like, "Oh, this tastes good," but then like me now, I make it, and I'm like struggling, struggling to get
Like,
it down. Unless it's like a pate, like liver pate is
mm,
really good because you have like a ton of fat and herbs in it. Oh, so
uh-huh.
delicious.
Bitch, make it. Become
Yeah.
a chef. Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
I never ate no liver. I'm sorry. I never grew up on that. But we're Asian in the household, so I mean, we eat
Asians
a lot
have
of other
organ
weird
meats.
shit. No, but we
Yeah.
eat a lot of other random shit that people probably don't even be eating. Like we eat duck all the time.
Duck is
That's like
delicious.
duck is fucking delicious, guys. If you
Yeah.
guys don't fucking eat duck, oh my god, you
Use
are
the
not
duck fat
living.
to like cook your cook your
What do you
eggs in.
do? Yeah. Oh, you do? You
Yeah,
do?
eggs
Okay.
or like if you ever bake like sweet potatoes, like cover them in duck
Yes.
fat. So good.
I've heard of duck fat fries, bitch. And duck produces a fuck ton of oils and fat because it's a very fatty bird, so a game or whatever you want to call it. So I have like fuck tons of like duck sauce, like the juices that come from the sauce and the fat. And I'm like waiting to see, I'm like trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So yeah, duck is delicious, guys. I'm sorry. Like get into some duck. Sorry to all my vegetarians and vegans out there. Sorry. Cute. Sorry, I kind of went on a segue just because I remember seeing your Instagram and I was like, let me ask her about that because that I did not know about. So
yeah, it's something that I always tell the women who work with me. If you can't stomach like eating liver, then take a desiccated capsule because that is nature's multivitamin. People are always like, superfoods have spirulina. Like, fuck spirulina. No.
Really?
Yeah. Like, okay, let's talk about like salads for a second. Kale salads have become like all the rage and everybody.
Yes.
But how many people are like constipated, gassy from it? Come on. Like that is a sign that your body is not digesting it well. It's too rough on the digestive system. If you want to have a raw kale salad, like do it, but don't do it every day because that is really, it's hard for the body to digest. Cook your greens. It makes the nutrients more bioavailable. Make sure you're having fat with your greens because it makes the nutrients more bioavailable. Beta carotene, beta carotene or vitamin A, that is a fat soluble vitamin. It's what we call a fat soluble vitamin, which means in order for the body to assimilate it, it needs to be eaten with a fat. So if you're having something like a carrot that has beta carotene in it, have a little coconut oil with it or something.
Oh, yes. I always cook with coconut oil. Yes.
Yeah. Or have some butter with it or something, but it needs to be eaten with a fat for you to better assimilate those nutrients. So vitamin A, D, E, and K, those are all fat soluble vitamins and I said D. But you need to eat them with fat, and most of those are found in fatty foods if you are like really being conscious of it. And that's why one of the reasons why I recommend grass-fed liver, because it has vitamin A, it has cholesterol, which is really important. We're always told to like steer clear of cholesterol, but cholesterol is like the backbone of our hormones. It's what our hormones are made of. Eating cholesterol does not correlate to you having high cholesterol, because even if you like only eat cholesterol free foods or whatever, the body's gonna make cholesterol, because cholesterol is actually an antioxidant. It's a protective material in the body. It's trying to keep like fats and lipids from oxidizing. So high cholesterol is a sign that there's something else going on in your body that it's trying to heal or protect you from.
Okay, because my dad had high cholesterol. Yeah, my father had high cholesterol. Rest in peace. That's interesting because you're so right. Like all the like health fucking ads out there are saying stay away from carbohydrates, stay from high cholesterol thing, blah blah blah. And then you're over here thinking like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna get
Pass
fat.
out.
Yeah. Oh, from
heart attack
eating
today.
Right, girl. It's mad confusing. It's mad confusing because you're just like, what the fuck do I eat? What do I eat? Because it's like, you want to be healthy, but it's at the same time, it's like everything you see now, like things are so contradictory and like you just don't know what to believe. So when it comes to cholesterol, what are some good cholesterols that you would recommend, I guess?
Okay, so this is going to be contrary. Like, listen, I'm not your doctor, but, like, do your own research, but you can have grass-fed red meat. You can have like grass-fed butter. You can have coconut oil. Liver is good for you. I wouldn't eat liver every day because it's very high in certain nutrients. You don't need it every day. Like once per week is fine.
Okay.
You can have cooked greens if you want to. The things that you want to stay away from are highly processed foods. You don't want to be eating Twinkies and Ho-Hos all the time.
But why not? They're so good.
If you want them, make your own. Like if you can make it better. Yeah.
Sickening. Making out your own Twinkie or Ho-Ho. Hey,
Yeah.
ho ho! Shout out to my hoes out there.
Shout out.
Hotel. Shout out to the hoes. Um, okay, so you are an advocate of just like if you do want certain foods, like whatever, like fries, things like that, just make them yourself, right? It's
Yeah, make
healthier
them
than.
yourself. I mean, don't stress about it, because I was just telling a client earlier today, like, we live and we die, like
Damn, bitch! That's so hard. Bitch, you gonna die. Eat what you know what I'm saying? Eat that liver. You about to die. Whatever.
I'm like, okay, there's only so much that we control, but if like you're trying to be well, you're trying to get better, like you are going to have to eat therapeutically for a while, and that's fine. But then like during that time, if there's a holiday or there's a birthday, or you're meeting with a friend and you want to go out to dinner, like I'm not trying to create an environment of orthorexia where you
Yes.
feel like you can't eat anything. So orthorexia is like basically you are, I don't know how to describe it without like it's you're thinking about your food too much and you're being too controlling about what you're eating.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. And so I don't want to create an environment of that. So with my whole like comment of like we live and die, it's like we're living right now and we need to enjoy the life that we have. Yes, we do need to eat for health, but we do not need to disregard the special moments in our life. If you're going out with a friend and you guys want to have burger and fries from wherever you want to have burger and fries from, go ahead and have it. Enjoy that. Enjoy the moment that you're sharing with someone. Ultimately, stressing out about it is negative. It's only going to negatively impact you, because stress actually matters a lot more
than that burger and fries.
Yeah.
Eat that burger and fries. I love that, but I love that tip, because honestly, like I feel like that happens a lot in our society where you just feel this super guilt. I do, because you like I've become a professional chef during the quarantine. No, I'm just kidding. At me, I'm a professional. No, I'm just kidding. I just started cooking a fuck ton. I mean, I'm like everyone. Everyone started cooking, like we were at home, we were forced to fucking cook, and I love it. I enjoy it. I really do. I'm starting to really enjoy cooking. Like my mom's she cooks all the time, and I'm starting to kind of get that from her, and so I watch her, and she can cook down. Like that bitch can cook down. So like, and she's she's Asian, she's from Thailand, but she can cook Italian food, she can cook Mexican food, she can cook, soul food, what I'm saying? Like my mama can cook.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do the same. I want to cook and and I enjoy it, so, but like one thing that I'm always like I'm like, oh, I can't make too much like pasta, because that's gonna be too fattening. I'll get too fat if I'm just sitting there eating pasta all day, all those carbs. But bitch, I make some good ass pasta, let me tell you. Okay? And I made it like very like cleanly. Like I would like just fresh tomatoes, fresh parsley, fresh lemon, shrimp. I love shrimp, so we do shrimp.
Can I tell you, this is just a side note. So this is a real side note. I started watching Grownish, and they were like, they always had jokes about shrimp. And I was like, I didn't know Black people like shrimp so much.
Tiffany, what? Bitch, we fuck so hard with shrimp. Black people love shrimp. We love shrimp. The fuck? Yeah, girl, we love shrimp. We love seafood. Black people love seafood. I feel like Black people feel like, I mean, like, this is just my perspective. Like, I'm only one, and I'm half Black, so I'm half that opinion in that sense. But I feel like maybe seafood was always just such a like a luxury, or it's like one of those, because it's expensive compared to like whatever, chicken or whatever. Like niggas love crab, niggas love lobster, niggas love shrimp.
Yeah.
I don't know about mussels and all that. I love scallops. But I know a lot of people that don't like scallops. Texture thing. Mussels, maybe not so. I love oysters. I fucking love seafood, but I love shrimp, girl. We eat that more than anything in our house. So we eat a lot of chicken, and then we eat shrimp, turkey. I don't cook a lot of beef and pork. I don't really cook a lot of beef or pork. Yeah, that's just me.
I guess it was just like expensive growing up.
Yeah.
But we had crab, and I remember loving crab.
Bitch, crab is more expensive than motherfucking shrimp. What are you talking about? Over here, like shrimp is expensive, but we have lobster and crab, and that's now crab is something I feel like is very like luxurious. If I can afford, Crab legs, bitch. Ooh, that's my maybe I'll
Ooh.
do that. Maybe I'll make some crab legs or some lobster tails for like an anniversary coming up or something.
Ooh, when's your
Cute.
anniversary? Oh, I love that.
Yeah, right. Like I actually, I what I did too was for like my partner's birthday too. Like during the quarantine, was I went and got like really good premium cuts of steak from like these really expensive steakhouses that my sister works at, and I
Mhm.
cooked them at home. So fucking good, so fucking good. But
I
yeah,
always
no,
ruin steaks. I don't know
really,
why. I don't know
girl,
why.
girl. Oh my
I'm not a chef. I
god.
did not become a chef in this
You're like, I
quarantine.
don't even know why I'm talking about nutrition, girl. I can't even. No, just kidding. No, talking about nutrition and cooking is like, they're different. But no, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a science. Like, you have to like, put the little thermometer in that bitch, check your
Mhm.
meat temperature, all that. But it came out really. It was a fillet. It was delicious. It was like a 10-ounce
Yeah.
fillet. It was sexy. It was so good. How do we even start talking about this? I can't even. I can't. No, but no. Oh, we were talking about pasta. Yeah, so I feel really
Yeah.
guilty with like pastas and things like that because it's
Mhm.
just something that I'm like, oh, I shouldn't eat this too much of it because I'm gonna get fat, or if this is like probably not too good for my body and stuff. So like, what do you say about that? Like carbohydrates.
I encourage carbohydrates. So
Mm,
there's like three macronutrients: protein, fat, and carb. We need all three of them. Better if you have them all three at each meal, because it helps stabilize your blood sugar so you can avoid having like energy like rises and crashes throughout the day. It'll give you like a steady level of energy if you're eating those three together consistently.
what were those again? I'm sorry.
Protein, carb, and fat.
Protein, carb, fat. Protein,
Yeah.
carb, fat. Okay.
So protein being like your meats of choice, cheese, dairy has a decent amount of protein as well, and eggs. Fat can also, it's also in a lot of those proteins, but it's also like your avocados, your sesame
Mm.
oils, your
Coconut
coconut
oil.
oil, yeah, coconut oil,
Okay.
butter. Um, and then we have our carbohydrates, which be your pastas, would be your vegetables, would be your, potatoes or
Mm.
whatever.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
where sugar is a carbohydrate as well. So,
Mm.
um, but as far as like, yeah, I think if you're eating just like pasta all day, every day, that could cause, but I think
Tiffany,
it's
I
in
gained 80
context.
pounds. Why? You eat pasta every day, bitch. The fuck? Go on.
But okay, so I mean, when it comes to macronutrients and like gaining weight, um, yes, you like in theory you could gain weight if you're eating carbs all day, but it's usually if like you're pairing carbs and fat together and that's just what you're eating all day. Because it's
And
hard to
not
burn.
exercising. And not
Yeah.
exercising. Okay.
Well, even if you're exercising, it might be difficult for you to like lose weight if that's all you're eating all day. So, um, but it really depends because you also see vegans out here who are on what I would call low protein diet. I would argue it's a low protein diet, regardless of if you're eating like beans and textured vegetable protein or whatever. It's a lower protein diet. So they're eating more carbohydrates and fats together, but they're able to keep like a low body weight a lot of the time. Not all
Yeah.
the time.
Girl,
um,
because yeah, the ones that the vegans I be looking at be looking hella thin and hella hungry.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
I
it depends on the person, but
right.
I think it's really I use the word bio individual because you could be like, I eat carbs and fat all day long and I like lose weight and I feel good. Then I mean, that works with
Kudos to
your
you.
physiology.
Right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works for you. If that and
Lucky bitch.
yeah, but for other people, they're like, I can't eat that many carbs by
Mm,
themselves without gaining a ton of weight.
mm,
So, yeah, it depends on the person. It depends on your physiology. But in general, I don't recommend like veganism
mm,
to people who have periods that are irregular or painful or have crazy PMS. If you have like cycle symptoms, you probably need to be eating meat because there's a lot of nutrients that you're missing from
mm.
eating meat. And And anyone who's like vegan, who's like, okay, I'm gonna go and eat meat right now, like I wouldn't encourage you to like jump right on, because you're probably gonna have some digestive issues. And this is why.
Yeah.
It's because meat has a vitamin B12, and you always hear like vegans need to supplement B12 and all of that. But B12 is also really important for our stomach, for our digestive process, and how we make stomach acid. And we need stomach acid to break down our food. And so if you're lacking that B12, you're not going to be able to break down meat as
Mm.
efficiently or as effectively.
Mm.
So you'll probably be like, oh, I don't like to eat meat because it's hard to digest. It's because you don't have the
Mm.
nutrients to be able to do that. So you need to start slow.
Mm. It's all tied together, isn't it? It's just all like a whole cycle, you know? So it's like that makes it makes a lot of sense, but it's like you just kind of have to know what certain nutrients you like, what ticks off the next thing and what kind of connects to the next thing. So like so
Mm-hmm.
basically when it comes to a healthy, like, okay, so I want to dive back into like your teaching women about their fertilization and like how when they're fertile and their fertility cycle, because for women I feel like a lot of women just don't know how to go
Mm-hmm.
about this. Like, for example, say I get this implant out of my arm tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I would be dead fucking scared to have sex because I'd be like, I'm gonna get pregnant. Right.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the best sort, like the best thing for me to do to kind of like look like to kind of get myself on a path of fertile, like tracking my fertile, how do you, what would you say? Tracking my
Tracking
fertile,
your cycle.
tracking
Yeah.
my cycle. I mean, I have the app that I've used to like,
Mm-hmm.
I have an app that most women probably have an app that they to help regulate or to kind of like, you know, plan out their cycle or whatever. So I do record it on that. But
Mm-hmm.
what you do, I feel like is so on a much deeper level. Like what are the more
Yeah.
detailed things that you do when it comes to like tracking your fertilization?
Yeah. So, I just wanted to like preface this with like, if you got like your implant out tomorrow, and like you'd be terrified that you're getting pregnant. Men are fertile 24/7. Women are fertile like 6 to 9 days a month. So,
What
um,
days, Kimbo? What days?
and so like having apps, like apps cannot tell you when you're fertile or non-fertile. They are based off of algorithms that kind of estimate based off of what you input when you could be fertile and when your period could start. But that is not a way, that's not an effective birth control.
Okay.
That's very different from doing like what I teach, which is the fertility awareness method.
Okay.
And so what makes this effective, which it's 99% effective, some of them are like 99.4% effective because there's many different fertility awareness methods, depending on like which one you want to learn. So it's up there with the hormonal contraceptives if you learn how to do it.
Wow.
So with that being said, on our high progesterone days, which would be in our luteal phase and a little bit before our ovulatory phase, we cannot get pregnant. There's literally like a mucus plug that forms inside of our cervix that's antimicrobial and blocks sperm from getting in. But then when we start seeing something called cervical mucus, which could be like creamy, it could be stretchy. A, a descriptive term that a lot of fertility awareness teachers teach is raw egg whites. That's it. That's what you might see in your ovulatory phase, and that is like highly estrogenic mucus. And that means that you were very fertile and you are close to ovulation.
Interesting.
So if you are currently not on anything and you're seeing this type of mucus and you're wondering what it is natural. It is a part of your body's physiology and you are fertile right now. So if you are avoiding pregnancy, do not have sex tonight if you have that type of mucus.
No, pull out and pray, please.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when you're on your period, I'm on my period right now, and I have sex and my partner, you know, comes in me or whatever, I'm not going to get pregnant.
It really depends. I feel like if you are on hormonal contraceptives, there's a way lower chance of getting pregnant when you have sex on your period. However, if you are not on hormonal contraceptives and you are choosing to do the fertility awareness method, um, some days when you're bleeding could be considered fertile, but the last couple of
Really?
days of menstruation, depending on how your cycles are going, whether you have something called like dry days, which means that you're not seeing any mucus after menstruation, or if you are seeing mucus after menstruation, that would dictate whether you could have unprotected sex on your period or not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so basically fertility awareness method. I mean, obviously, I don't expect you at all, Tiffany, to get into the details because this is what she does for a living, guys. She has a business, so I will give all that information at the end if you do want to have Tiffany help you in your journey of fertility awareness. But basically, fertility awareness is basically a method of where you're watching your own body and
Mm-hmm.
your own body cycle and what it's doing and reading your body and
Yeah.
understanding that what your body's telling you, and it'll tell you whether or not when you can get whether you're fertile or not. And so the
Yeah.
whole thing is that you do not have sex or take extreme precaution when having sex during those times when you are fertile with those 6 to 9 days. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And it
Okay.
really depends on the person. And I just say this because we are told as women that we're going to have babies. It's going to happen. You're going to get pregnant left and right. If you're having
Yeah.
sex, you're getting pregnant. But there are so many women that struggle to even get pregnant. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I
like,
was
I kind of want to squash this fear that you're going to get pregnant as soon as you think about having sex with someone, because it just doesn't work like that.
the baby's coming.
Yeah, you know, and it's not to say that you can't get pregnant, but it's like once you know when your ovulatory phase is and how to mitigate that, like either you know use a condom or another barrier method during that phase if you want to have sex, because biologically speaking that's when you're probably going to want to have sex anyway.
Yeah,
um
girl, you be getting horny when you're ovulating, right? Like your
yeah,
body be
yeah.
telling you like, "Oh, have some sex," because
Yeah.
that's also the time where you're fertile, right?
Yep, yep.
Oh
Because
Lord.
biologically, like your body, you know, it wants to procreate. So like that's
Right.
when you would know I have to use a barrier method if we're gonna have intercourse at this time. But
Hmm.
then after you were out of your ovulatory phase, and there are rules to this, like I will just say like you're tracking your fertile biomarker, so that's cervical mucus. I teach LH testing along with cervical mucus and something called BBT, which is your basal body temperature, which you would take that every morning, and it gives you like a chart of what your cycle is doing. So anyway, so after you're out of your ovulatory phase, that's when you are no longer fertile, and depending on what you have going on in your luteal phase, like if you're spotting or if you start seeing cervical mucus, then you'd have to adjust to make sure that you're not having sex while you're fertile. So there's like rules that happen with that, but
Hmm.
for the most part, if you have a healthy cycle, you cannot get pregnant during your luteal phase if you were
Mm.
outside of your ovulatory phase. And I just want to show you, since this is on YouTube as well, you can see just what a chart like might look like. Let's see if you can
Okay.
see.
Okay. So
So
right now, Tiffany's showing us a chart on YouTube. You guys, I will put links in the show notes if you guys want to see what she's talking about. Okay.
yeah, so if you can see like right here, this is in my pre-ovulatory phase, and I'm these colors down here where I'm charting cervical mucus. And then after this like jump in temperatures, this
Yeah.
is the luteal phase, and that like it's confirmed that I ovulated. So
You
now during this,
already
yeah.
ovulated.
So now during this phase, I could have unprotected sex given the rules of whatever I'm seeing with my cervical mucus. So it's important to learn the rules of this and to not just like assume you know it.
Yeah.
It's not the rhythm method, because I think from what I understand about the rhythm method, they're just like, oh, everyone ovulates on day 14, so don't have sex on day 14, but you're okay other times. That's not how this works. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's
Uh-huh.
very, very different, and there are rules to this. And
What is that chart? Is that just you made that up, that chart that you just showed me?
Oh, no. So it's I use the app Read Your Body, and
Okay.
it's
Okay.
it takes, there's a learning curve because it's very individualized, since like I said there are so many different versions of the fertility awareness method. It's very customizable to the method that you are learning,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So,
Okay.
but a great starting point that I always tell everyone, and pretty much every teacher starts with, there's a book called Taking Charge of Your Fertility by Tony Weschler. It's a
Okay.
very thick book. So it's a great reference, but it's like if you're interested in it, you'll just like eat it up. It's
Okay.
so interesting.
Okay. I will put this book in the show notes, guys, so that way you guys can reference this book. And if you guys want to read it for sure, I'll put in the show notes, the link.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I mean, like, yeah, for someone like myself, or I'm sure other women out there that are listening are like, whoa, like this is just like, it's interesting as fuck, but it's like, it's very daunting to be like, oh my God, okay, where do I start, and this and this and that, and so this book, will help you kind of understand and track track what your body's telling you, right, so to speak. And I guess also for women that, for me especially, like I've been on hormones most of my life, so it's like I don't even know how my body would be,
Yeah.
like after I get off birth control. It's something that I'm gonna have to really. So would you say it's like, how long did it take you when you decided to go on the fertility awareness method to kind of get in the track and really be very successful with tracking your fertility? Like, how long did it take you when you first started this?
Well, okay, so this is just a little caveat because I didn't work with a a practitioner. I originally just got the book Taking Charge of Your Fertility, and I started reading through that, but then I got really self-conscious because I didn't know anyone else who was doing it.
Mm.
And so I was like, is this crazy? I'm like taking my temperatures. How is this going to work? But I think it took me around a year. Had I reached out and actually got help from someone, I would have been fine.
Okay.
It would have been so much
And that's what
easier.
you do. And that's what you do. You help
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it's been, like I said, it's been 3 years now. No pregnancy scares. Sometimes we have unprotected sex, sometimes we don't, but we only have it when it's appropriate,
You use condoms?
Oh, actually, sorry, I said that wrong. We always have unprotected sex, but we don't always, it's not always like full Monty, I guess. It's not always full Monty unless it's an appropriate time in my cycle that we can do that. So this is controversial. We do the pull-out method during the ovulatory phase, which I'm not suggesting everybody do. Like, you
Well, you're
have
a
to
professional
understand.
at this point, so you know
Yeah.
your body.
Yeah. You also
Yeah.
and your partner has to know his body. He has to know his cues. You can't just.
Ooh, child, that's gonna be hard. I know all the women just said, ooh, because if we gotta leave it up to them, girl.
Yeah, don't do that with someone that you don't trust, and don't do it with somebody that doesn't know that it's about to happen, that they are about to orgasm.
Unless y'all want a baby.
So, like, I don't tell my clients to do what I'm to do that, but it's your business if you do. But I think if you're doing that, you have to be comfortable with the possible consequences, and we're okay with that. Okay. We're okay with that at this point. So.
Ooh, Tiffany finna have a baby, y'all.
No.
I'm just kidding. No, that's okay. That's real. That's real. I mean, and I love that this method is so cool because it's like, it's involving your partner. Whereas I feel like before, it always feels like it's just like women that are on birth control, like, the pill or whatever. It's like all on us, right? Because we're just like holding all the cards in our hand because we're the ones that have the barrier, so to speak. That's if you're that's if you're not using a condom. If the partner that you're using, that you're with, doesn't have a condom, then it's like all on us, right? So it's just, this method seems like it's a partnership. Like, you guys are both involved in this method, so that way you guys are both aware. Which I think would be really nice, because it's funny because it's like I would often not know, like, if I was about to get my period or not, and my partner would be like, yeah, you're about to. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do you know that? He's just like, I know I pay attention, you know, like I can, you know, I know like kind of when you're about to get her or whatever. He just kind of like monitors it and things like that. I'm like, really? Really?
That's
It
a little
shocked the
questionable.
fuck out of
How's he
me.
tracking?
Girl, I was
He
like,
has an app just like, I know. I know
I was like, let me see your phone. Let me see your phone real quick. No, I mean, I literally, but it was actually very complimentary. It made me so happy. And I was just like, ooh, I'm gonna put it on you. You know, because I was just like, that was just so cute. Because no man before that has been like, I track your period. I know when you're gonna get it. Like, no man has ever said that to me and been like, no, I know when you're about to, you know, go on your period or when you're fertile, whatever the fuck, you know. I thought it was sexy as fuck. That's just what I'm saying. I thought it was sexy as fuck when when a man is actually interested in when a woman's because you know what, you're in this with me. You know, like if I'm getting pregnant, we're together in this. So it just makes so much sense for you to know what's going on with my body too. You know,
it takes two to tango.
It takes motherfucking two to tango. So it's just like, but like you said, if you just have to have a partner that you trust and that you guys are in this together, and I'm very blessed that I have a partner that is right there with me and is involved in that sense and like wants to like know or whatever have you. But not everybody's the same. Some men are very like turned off or don't want to fucking talk about it. Oh, it's disgusting, and that's a whole nother fucking show in itself. It's a whole nother podcast episode talking about why the fuck there's so much stigma and so much like negativity around period women's menstrual cycles, when nigga, you came out of a vagina,
right?
Like you wouldn't be here if we weren't menstruating. Like what the fuck? So I think that what you're doing is super, super important. And I think it's just something that is super interesting. And it's just kind of really racks my brain that like a lot of more women don't know about this. Cause it's like, you know what I mean? It's just literally reading our bodies and listening to what our bodies are telling us. Right. But like literally like we're listening to a doctor, giving us prescriptions more so than our own bodies. Isn't that ironic? It's just so funny to me.
And it's so common. Like if you go to the doctor and you have a menstrual issue, like you have cramps or you have anxiety or sore breasts or whatever, they'll be like, oh, here's a pill. And that, it's a shame, because honestly, I'm here to tell you, if you have irregular periods, if you have heavy periods, if you have PCOS, if you have fibroids, there is another way. And going on hormonal contraceptives for your period issues, for your cycle issues, is not solving the problem. It's only going to dig you deeper into whatever it is that you're dealing with, because it's not addressing the root cause. And without addressing the root cause, when you come off birth control because you're ready to have a kid, you're going to find it much more difficult to have a child because of the impacts of birth control. There's something called post-birth control syndrome that happens, where women will just lose their periods. They won't have it for a period of time, or they might have like PCOS, or there's something also called post-pill PCOS. So the pill is not this like benign thing that we can just like take as women that's going to solve all our issues. It can cause a lot more issues than it solves. And it honestly doesn't solve any of your issues. It's a Band-Aid at the end of the day. And I think that might be inflammatory. And a lot of people might like hear that and be like, oh, I can't believe she said that. But like, honestly, do your research. There are many books that talk about this. One of my favorites, what is it called? Dang, I already forgot. But I know it's by Dr. Jolene Brighton. And she writes about the pill and its effects on your body, and gives you some practical steps on how to heal. But if you are dealing with something that that has like been interrupting your life, just know that there are other options. And that's why I'm in this work, because I really want to help women understand their cycles and understand how they can take back the power and start to heal those cycle issues.
That's awesome. I fucking love that. Yes, Tiffany. Yes. Thank you for that. I've learned like already so much, even just in talking to you for this short time. And I appreciate all your knowledge in this. You guys, I will link we'll have a moment at the end of the show where Tiffany can give us all her information if you guys are interested in having Tiffany help you, guide you in your fertility awareness journey. She sounds like she knows what the fuck she's talking about, and 3 years, no baby. So there you go. There's the proof. We're going to move on to the next segment. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back and we're going to do meditate, masturbate, medicate.
Yeah.
And we're back. So, Tiffany, we are into the next segment now, and that's meditate, masturbate, medicate. What do you choose for us to talk about, my love?
Meditate.
Yes, meditate, guys. Okay. So yeah, meditation, super, super important. What are your meditation practices, Tiffany?
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I'm not like, I don't meditate every day, but I think it's really important to take time to decompress and de-stress. I think it's so important, and we don't, a lot of times we just work ourselves to death. So one of my favorite things is, I told you about this, I took a bath with magnesium, a little bit of baking soda, and I've been like sleepy for like 2 days now.
Yeah, we like started the podcast. She's like, girl, I'm real sorry. I'm fucking like so out of it. I just took a magnesium bath. I'm like, bitch, what? I'm like, what? Yeah. Magnesium. So what are the benefits from a magnesium? What is magnesium soda?
Magnesium. So, okay, I did baking soda too because I'm just adding more stuff to my bath. But magnesium, it's important for so many different things in the body. It can help regulate digestion. It could help reduce bloating. It helps with period issues. It's a relaxing, like calm mineral, which we don't really get enough of in the foods that we eat because of soil depletion. So that's a whole other thing. But so we don't get enough of it, so we need it. And so I also like to supplement magnesium glycinate, but also we absorb it through our skin as well. So magnesium baths with like filtered water are so great, especially at night. Like if you do it before you go to bed, you're gonna have the best sleep.
Really? Is it do you buy the magnesium like in like a, so like what is it, like pills that you just throw in your bath or capsules that you're?
Yeah, it's so it's, you've heard of Epsom salts?
Yeah.
So it's just Epsom salts. Essentially. Yeah, that's all magnesium.
Wait, so Epsom salt has magnesium?
Yeah, it is. I think it's the form is like magnesium like sulfate or something.
Oh, okay.
So it's just
Bitch, like you took an Epsom salt bath?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Take your Epsom salt bath.
Bitch, you should have just said that. You got me over here thinking like, oh, magnesium. Tell me more. What kind of form? What is this? What, girl? Yes, niggas take Epsom salt baths. Yes.
Take more.
Okay. No, I mean literally, like me and my partner have like a foot bath.
Yeah.
And I bought him a new one for Christmas too. And we actually have one that has like hemp in it, and it's dope. Like I mean, it doesn't have THC, but it's got like hemp in it or something like that. And we put that in there. We also do have I have an Epsom salt that I got, and it has THC in it. That's also litty titty, and it works. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of it. Maybe I'll send you a photo of it. It's sickening. Like we actually took it because when we went to stay at a hotel when we were on the road. We got like a room with a big old jacuzzi in it, and we put the Epsom salt with THC infused in there, and we put it in the bath, and bitch, I got high as fuck.
Really? How much THC is in it? That would like
100 milligrams per little bottle or the canister. I'll show it to you. I'll send it to you.
That sounds like a lot. Oh wait, for the whole thing, but you're not putting the whole thing in the bath. Are you putting?
No,
the whole thing?
Bitch, no. Oh my god. Girl, no. I'd be like I wouldn't move for days. No, I took like a spoon, like a tablespoon.
Okay.
And I put it in there, and then I mixed it with like bubbles and like more Epsom salt, and like made it a whole like vibe. Put some music on, put a little incense. You know, we made a little vibe. It was cute. Okay. But yeah, okay. So you fucks with Epsom salt then, huh?
Hell yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm getting ideas because I want to gift you something for doing the show with me. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, give me some.
You're like, yes, give me some of that shit. I love it. Okay, well that's great. I mean, like I think that baths are fucking lit. Baths are fucking great for meditation. Are you kidding me? I'm just sad that we don't have like when we finally get like a place and everything like that. That's gonna be one of those things that's gonna be like definitely on the list. We're gonna have like a jacuzzi somewhere or something like that so we could take baths. Because like growing up, I never really took baths like that.
Yeah.
but they're so nice and they're so underrated. Like showers are just one of those, like you see, like, okay, you got to get the dirt off you, you got to get the stink off you, got to wash your bits,
Yeah.
so you just got to get in there and out. But like baths are just like therapeutic. They're nice. So
Yeah.
that's
I
your form
grew
of
up taking
meditation.
baths. Yeah, I love it. And I think it's funny because like I feel like city life, nobody's trying to get in their bathtub because you're like, somebody probably died in here. Like,
Girl.
And so I was definitely like, I don't know if I want to take this bath. But once you start doing it again, because I did take a lot of baths when I was younger, and I just was like, this is actually, it's nice. It's like warm, you have your bubbles, it can be relaxing. Like, I think if you make it a mood, like, and with the intention, set an intention that you're trying to like de-stress, and maybe you actually do some like actual meditations while you're sitting in the bath, that can be like spiritually relaxing.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I love me some baths. Also, there's the Calm app. Every once in a while I'll get that and I'll sit and I'll do an actual like sitting meditation.
Sickening.
Yeah.
Love it. I don't use the Calm app, but I use Insight Timer app. And that has like it's basically this, they have like all sorts of different
like meditation games and stuff. Yeah, right?
Calm has games?
I don't think Calm does, but doesn't Insight, or no?
Girl, girl, am I missing
I
out
might
on
be
some
talking
games?
about a different one.
I was like, ooh, they got games over here. Let me see. The app has like guided meditations. It has courses, yoga, music, sleep, beginners, parents. It has a bunch of different stuff. It's like a whole community app. It's great. I love the Insight Timer app. I use it every single day. But I use it mostly to meditate and then like to go to sleep. I'll put a little bit of like white noise and like that, let that go. Yeah, I love it. But the Calm app, I hear people use the Calm app a lot too. So that's another app that's great that I hear. So
I think the app I'm thinking of is called like Awake or something. If you want to do like meditation games where you're like, they have you like breathe and then you're like swiping things along with how you're breathing. Yeah. So if you're a person that's like on your phone all the time and you feel like you can't just like sit down and like, like meditate, that might be a good option for you.
It's called Awake.
I believe that's what it's called. If not, I'll give you the correct name. So
right. And I can put it in the show notes. No, that sounds really cool. Like I like, you know what? And that's so real because people don't say, I mean, like meditation is not, especially if you're not used to just sitting and doing nothing and like calming your brain, it's kind of hard, right? Yeah. It's not super easy. People are like, oh, just meditate. If you're like, especially if you have high anxiety or if you're like a person that just can't like you have ADHD or what do you like, what's another one for it? Like when you're just like, you just literally can't sit still for, I don't know what it's called. But like sitting down and not doing anything and just trying to calm your brain, like that must be really tough for that, for that in the beginning. I mean, it definitely takes you a while to like get your body like used to like the sitting and the quiet and then the focus. So this sounds like that app does sound really good. So we'll find it and then we'll put it in the show notes, guys, because that does sound really interesting, especially if you're having troubles with meditation. I find meditating first thing in the morning to be really the best thing to start the day. Again, I'm the same. Like sometimes I'm really good about doing it every day, and then sometimes I like fall off for a little bit. It just depends on what's going on. So
yeah. I think a great note for anyone who's like, it's really difficult to meditate because like I can't stop thinking. There's some like meditation studios here. I've been to like a Buddhist meditation studio here, and I've talked to like the person who led it, and I'm like, I just can't like quiet my thoughts. And he's like, that's not the point of this. Like if you like, it's okay if you can't quiet your thoughts. Like he's like, I can't quiet my thoughts, but the point is that you're sitting here with yourself and you're attempting to do it.
And that's the whole point, right? That's like, you're trying, right? It's like, I definitely, my brain goes through all sorts of things when I'm fucking meditating, but then there are some times where I'm just like, okay, and I'm able to just kind of like relax a little bit. So I don't know, we're all on a journey, guys, do your best, the world's a shit show right now. So doing anything that helps you feel better,
prioritize self-care for sure.
Amen to that, girl. Fucking amen to that. Cause it's super, super important. I'm really happy that that's becoming more of a trend though, to be honest with you, but it's a good trend, I think, because not so many people, we were just so on the go all the time, bitch me, I had like 10 jobs. I would go to one job, go to the next job, go to the next job, go to the next job, wake up the next day, do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I never gave time to myself to just to nothing. And that's still, actually, it's still pretty hard for me to do stuff. Like just relax and do nothing. It's tough, you know? So, but yeah, that sounds great. So guys, take your magnesium baths or Epsom salt baths. You know, I gotta laugh. My producer is in the background cracking up. Shout out to Rick Dog. Yeah, that's
prioritize self-care, especially us, you know, people of color. Like, we're going through it, you know. There's so much.
Bitch. IT. We are going through it. Okay. Oh my God.
And I don't think enough of us prioritize self-care. Like, watching TV is not self-care, you know.
But it's
take your Epsom salt bath, meditate, masturbate. Meditate if you need to.
Yes, you better do it, girl. You better meditate, masturbate, medicate, okay? Yeah. Yes, you know we're all about that life here in Kimbology land. Okay, yeah. Tiffany, this has been great. I love chatting with you, bitch. It's so much fun.
I love chatting with you too.
Right? And you guys, I hope you guys learned a lot. Like I learned a ton. And yeah, it's time for the quote of the day, believe it or not. I chose this quote for the topic today. Very on brand, I think. So let me go ahead and get into that. So the quote of the day is, period. Don't laugh at her when her dress is turned red. Understand when she's feeling uncomfortable. Never bother her at least 5 days a month. Make her smile, bring her food, care her more. Remember, you exist because we bleed. And that is by Priyanka. That's a quote by Priyanka. Oh. So I felt that was right on brand, right?
I love that so much. That was good. You have to send me that.
Girl, I need that on a t-shirt. Like, yeah. Okay. Yay. So you love the quote of the day. I was like, you know what? I'm picking this one for my girl, Tiffany, because, you know, of everything we spoke about. And yeah, guys, I think that was an amazing talk. Tiffany, again, thank you a million times for joining us today. This was such a great talk.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. No, seriously, shout out though to the men and to the male identifying bodies out there, if they did stick around and listen, because this is such an important topic and I feel like it is something that we all should be learning. So shout out to you if you did stick around and listen. At this time, Tiffany, please give us your Instagram, your handles, your business name, all that fun stuff so people can, and again, I will put all this in the show notes too, guys, but Tiffany, tell us where we can find you.
For sure. You can find me on Instagram at Tiffany Williams FNTP. And also my website is sageflowholistic.com.
Y'all heard it. Yeah. So reach out to Tiffany, guys. If you really are serious about even just like nutrition too, like if someone just like wants to just, you know, eat better or just learn more about foods and stuff, like she's a wealth of knowledge and she's still learning more too. So everything's like a whole journey, right? Yeah, when I heard that, Tiffany, this is what you were kind of focusing, you know, your brand on and your business on, I was really excited because I was like, oh shit, this is going to be great for the podcast. You know, I feel like this is something that a lot of women need to learn more about. People, I'm gonna say women, a lot of people in general, human beings need to learn more about, because it is super important. And thank you for all your wealth of knowledge yet again. You guys, if you enjoyed this episode, pause the podcast right now and go to Apple Podcast and leave us a rating, subscribe, write a little comments. Okay, if you liked my lipstick today in the you know, YouTube video, or if you like Tiffany's headscarf, you know, give us any sort of love. You know what I'm saying? We really appreciate it here. I really appreciate it. It really helps us out with sponsorships. If you want to share, I know on Spotify it's super easy to share the podcast on your stories via Instagram. So do that too. I'd really appreciate that. As always, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, which I haven't touched in a while. I'm like, girl, TikTok is just so hard. It just takes
a lot of energy.
Oh, girl, it is the ghetto. I'm like, I don't know how, and people are very successful and having a good time. Your girl is just like, I can't. But anyways, I try every now and then. Yeah, reach out to me in any way possible. Always email me your questions or any sort of topics or any sort of things at kimbologypodcast@gmail.com. And thanks so much for listening, guys. I appreciate you so much, so much. And yeah, Tiffany, thank you so much for joining again. And that's it. You're welcome. And we're going to see you guys next week, guys. Bye. Kimbo out.
Brought to you by the Rick Dog Network. Well, shoot the damn dog.